Hello and welcome back to Farming Simulator 22 on Calmsden Farm. So in the last episode we made a shed ton of money, we really did, and I've spent a little bit of it, but we're still sitting pretty at 194 grand. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. It's definitely been a good harvest, but hopefully by the end of this episode we'll have a shed ton more, and yeah, we can pretty much look at buying something. I don't know what to buy. I feel like you know when you've got too much and you just don't know what to get. The options, there's too many options and I don't know which one to go with, so it'll be interesting to see which path I take in the end. Quickly before we do carry on feeding the animals, which is what I was doing, I just want to point out that I did spend a bit of the money and I got this. Now this is really handy. Obviously it holds milk. It is like a milk tanker, which is good for us because we have started producing milk. There is 3,200 litres I think inside the tanker itself, so obviously I won't take it until it's full, even though January is the perfect time to sell milk. It's like when it peaks out, so maybe it would be a good idea to just maybe sell it. I think I've got set to 3 days in January, so maybe January 3 we'll take the milk we've got just to try and maximise our income from it, really. Even though we don't need to, it just makes sense, I guess. There isn't an actual dairy on Calmsden as well, so there is a few sell points to take to, but there isn't a specific dairy, so probably take it to the best price, to be honest. So this also holds water, so the main reason I bought it, obviously for milk, because we're a milking farm and that's going to be essential income eventually when we get the cows, but we also needed water to give to the sheep, so I got this. It's kind of like a 2-in-1. It holds water, so I did that first, and then obviously now I've got milk in. It holds around 22,000 litres, so it's pretty good. So yeah, that's come in handy. So obviously I'm feeding the cows. They do take quite a bit. I think it's like 100,000 litre capacity in the feeding trough, which is insane. It really is. So this is the third mix of TMR that I've done, and I'm just about to tip it in. Now I did do one before that, so in total this should bring us to where we want to be. So if we just have a quick look, we can see that we're at 90,000. We want to be around here. I think it's 100. It's probably even more, to be honest. But we need to give them TMR now because that 3,000 litres that I did take out of the milk, that was actually formed from hay, so it wasn't maximising from these 60 cows. So we need to give them TMR. It's that time. But they did consume quite a lot of the hay, so you know they did find a use from that as they were obviously maturing. They've still got 22,000 litres, which sadly is not going to get consumed, and it's going to obviously take up some of this total volume that's sitting obviously in the trough. But at the end of the day, we're feeding them the right thing now, and that's the main thing. So let this just finish off. I did fill up the slurry tanker, and I was going to try and spread some slurry, but obviously we've got them bales in the field, so we're struggling with that. And we obviously got manure as well to spread, but I do want to try and do that before I start working on the grass fields again, just to try and obviously spend less money when it comes to the fertiliser. So what I'm going to try and do is swing this around. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be like a 6-point turn maybe. We can give it a go. Yeah, this is going to be difficult. Let's just reverse out. It makes sense. And then we're going to just park it up. We just might need the John Deere at some point, so I thought it's better to just unhitch so it frees it up. Let's put it in the bunker for a bit. There we go. That's perfect. Spot on. Bob's your uncle. Take that out. Take that out. Drop that off. Job done. We don't need the beacons anymore. Right, so it is now time to go and sell these bales. Been waiting for this for ages, really have. Now we won't need the John Deere for that exactly, so we need to jump over to this bad boy. Now I'm using the class setup with our normal trailer for auto loading. We've been using it mainly for the Heston bales, but also it does hold the round bales, so we've picked up pretty much the majority, if not, no, sorry, we have picked up all the bales from the sheep pasture, which is good because that frees up the space for them. Still waiting for this grass to grow back. I don't like how it resets to this. I really don't. I mean, the GEO is pretty good, don't get me wrong, it's spot on, but the one negative I've found with it is the fact that it just resets the grass to this. I understand why it has to do it. in the sense of that, it is a positive, because obviously you shouldn't be mowing grass in these times, these months of the year, the winter months. So I understand, and it does make sense. I just wish it looked a little bit better than that, because it doesn't just affect the fields, it like changes the texture here. Also, you can drive around some of the roads and you'll see it on the side. It just makes this map look a little bit dodgy, let's say, which is impossible, because this map is probably the best looking map on FS22. So yeah, I do like the textures of the grass anyway. But completely digressing off point, let me just go and find out where the best place to do this is. Now, I think it was around 340, sorry. Yeah, 342 is a max, and we are hitting 343 here. Now, that is going up, so I'm going to start just going to the farm store Bales sell point, which is where we went majority of the time. I mean, there's no point for me to go all the way to here, or even to there, to be honest, because this is going to go up. So let's just do that. Now, I'm sure that is the normal one. It is. So we'll leave that on, even though we know where we're going. But we've got 22 bales. Now, I have got them on auto load, because if I do drop them and then strap them up, this tractor with this amount of bales will go about, well, it'll probably go about 10 miles an hour if we're lucky. I mean, I can show you this. So if you drop it, strap it, it's 120,000 litres, and as you can see, the tractor all of a sudden just struggles really bad. And it's just because of the weight. It's a hefty load. So the best thing to do is obviously just put them back on like that, and then the tractor goes fine. So we got 22. What I'm going to do, as soon as I've dropped these off, we're obviously going to make a note of how much money we make, and then we're going to take 22 bales to the biogas plant, and we're going to see how much money we make from that. Now, I don't imagine we're going to even fit anywhere near 22 bales inside the biogas plant. It's just not going to happen. So it's going to be like a gradual thing, but I just want to try and get a comparison of the money we'd make from 22 bales of silage straight selling to a bale sell point, and then obviously 22 bales at the biogas plant. So I do imagine that the bales we take to the biogas plant is going to be a lot more income, but it's the time and effort. Is it going to be enough of an increase to justify keep going back and placing the bales in, and so on? I mean, it wouldn't be too bad if we had loose silage, because then we could just keep a trail there and just tip in. But bales are a little bit more tricky. Right, so we can drop them now. Whoa, that was interesting. And then we can just crawl, as you do. It really does struggle. And this is not like a small tractor. This has got some horsepower. These are big bales. So we take the strapping off. 42,000. 42,000. Wow. I mean, that says it. It says it all. It really does. We're at 236. That's 42,000 from that. I mean, look at the money we made from the canola and the barley. I mean, this is going to annihilate that. Well, I'm happy with that. Definitely happy with that. I can't believe we made 42,000 from that. That's going to be insane, the amount of bales we've got sitting around. I mean, we're at least going to make another... I'd say we're going to hit close to the 150 mark. I can't even remember how many bales are in the field, to be honest. But I'm going to guess we're going to hit 150k from just silage. And that's just one cut. We could keep doing that. We could literally do like 3 cuts and keep selling it, and we'd make more money than we need eventually. We really would. So I'll get back, I'll load up another 22 bales, and we'll head off to the biogas plant, and I'll cut back in when I'm on my way there. Right, so I'm nearly here with another 22,000 litres, as you can tell. I'm just trying to think. I've never actually used this biogas plant here. So I'm interested to see if I just drop them in the top, if they'll sit there. Now, I know we're going to get digestate, which will come in use. And if we have a look at that, that is a perfect size. That's just going to hold all these. I've probably gone Ah, I thought I did. Just going to have to manoeuvre that a little bit. Let's just scoot them back so it doesn't look so ugly as we drive through it all. But I imagine that we're just going to drop these in. Personally, I would like to take these off, but that's just because maybe I've got OCD, I don't know. Ah, yeah, that's going to be difficult. I think we'll just have to plonk them in, eh? I think it's going to tell me to do it again, yep. So, that's probably going to spasm out. Do you know what? Just do it. See what happens. There we go. It's somehow settled out, but it is full. 76,000 litres and a load of bales that look like they're going crazy, which they are going crazy, and that's my fault. So it holds 76,000 litres. Now that's not too bad. In all fairness, that is pretty good. That's like halfway. We were at what, 120,000 I think it was. I can't remember top of my head. It's gone out of my head. But where is the production? There we go. So silage. So if we activate that now, it does 24 cycles a month. Now one cycle is this. So we should be getting, so I think that's 50,000 litres in a month. So that's every 3 days now within game. So every 3 sleeps within game, 50,000 litres are going to be processed. So we're looking at 3 months, which is 9 sleeps, before we even know how much money it's going to make. Now, obviously, I'll try and keep a track of that. I just don't know how it's going to work because of the fact it doesn't pay at midnight anymore. I imagine that we don't want to change it. We don't want to sell that. We just want to store that. I don't know how this works now. I'll be honest. I don't know if it pays at a certain time or after you get a certain amount, because the energy... It'd be interesting to see if you had energy and you could store it and then decide to sell it all in one go, because I'd like to store it all. Then I could tell you how much energy we produced, which is this, obviously. And then if we sold it all, how much we got. Because it also gives us methane gas, it looks like, which is useful if we had a methane tractor. But it doesn't tell you any information about storing it. Now, maybe it does within here. Where are you? No, it doesn't. It'd be good if it had it in here. You know, like it says storage 4,700 litres of diesel. If we had it in here as methane, because yeah, where's the methane going to come? Is it, where'd you fill it up from? I mean, I've got so many questions on the biogas side because I don't normally do this. This is something that I don't usually try this out. Now, looks like we've got 2 points there. This must be where I tip slurry, I imagine. And this must be where I pick up digestate. But where would you pick up the methane? Interesting. I'll obviously keep an eye on this and I'll learn probably quite a bit from it. But it will be interesting to see what goes on. But we'll carry on. I'll go and sell the remaining bales at the sell point, which was what the original plan is. We'll let that carry on and I'll see if it does pick up any money as we go through, because it might be difficult to track this, but I will try my very best to do it just to see. It just depends if it's selling it in... Whoa, that was close. Yeah, it's interesting to see if it's selling it straight away, so you can see it going up, like after it maybe hits 1,000 litres of energy or methane or whatever it's trying to sell, because it doesn't give you the option to store, sell, or distribute on that side, unless I'm completely missing something. So yeah, does it sell every 1,000? Does it wait until you've processed it all? Does it wait for midnight? Who knows? But I will keep a track of it. I know we're at 236, 395 when it comes to money, and I have just made a note of that. So I'll crack on. I'll probably got at least 2 trips to do, maybe a bit more. So I'll do a couple of trips and I'll cut back in and I'll give you an update on where we're sitting with the money. Right, so welcome back. Several trips later, and I mean several trips later, this is the 4th trip I've done since the first one I did. So I think I've done 5. I mean, this isn't a full one. This has got 17 bales on, but this is the last load. Now, we've made a shed ton, and I do use that word a lot, but I only ever use it when we seriously have made some good money. So as soon as I unstrap this, we'll make even more, and that's a £33,000 extra, which brings our total just from selling bales at this sell point to £200,000. It's exactly like 202,000, and that's not taking into account the 22 that we took to the biogas plant that I haven't received any income yet. So if we had taken them here, we'd be around 245,000 or something like that, maybe. I don't know. I think it is probably that, which is £250,000 from one so one cut, should I say, of all the grass fields, which is insane. It really is such good money, and it's just brought us under the 400k mark, which is plenty money for what we want to do. So I was looking into the biogas plant situation. Now, what I understand is every hour on the hour within the game, so that's a game time hour, we should earn some money basically each hour from the biogas plant. That's how it works. The power sells directly, but it didn't mention about the methane, so I need to still pick up a bit of information on that side. It'd be interesting to see if you could sell that as a byproduct, because we're not going to need it for any of our vehicles at the moment. We haven't got any methane tractors. I mean, we could get a methane tractor just to see what it's like, especially if we're generating methane. I just need to figure out where to fill the tractor up from, because I couldn't see a fill point. I might have missed it, but I couldn't see it originally from the biogas plant. I'm just trying to think where to park this up, because we're not going to need this trailer for a bit now. All the bales are done, everything's done from this year's harvest, everything's sold, so all we need to do pretty much now is prep the fields for the next harvest. So we're going to be doing soybeans, like I did mention in the last episode, so we're going to have to plant that as soon as it's ready, which it isn't just yet. We've got a new seeder to try out as well on that, and we're then going to need to obviously roll the ground after we've planted, and also take care of some weeds. Now, I do need to buy a weeder. I mean, obviously we can afford one. We'll probably go with the biggest one we can get. We'll try and catch it at the right time, obviously. But we don't need to worry about buying that yet, because we've still got to plant in the ground, and then obviously roll it. Make sure we do some fertilising and stuff like that. And then obviously as soon as the weeds pop up, we'll take care of them. Now, let's just have a quick look at the fields, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. So these 3 here are my main crop fields. So I've got 2, 3 and 6. Now I'm going to be doing soybeans in 2, soybeans in 3, and then I'm going to do something in 6 that's going to give me straw. So if we have a look at the crop calendar, we can see that soybeans we're going to need to plant around May time, and we're going to get a late harvest around October, November, which is fine. So we'll do that after we do the first field. Now the ones that we need to look at for straw are wheat, barley and oats mainly. So I mean, we could technically we could have put it in over winter, but we didn't do that, so we may as well just try and plant it as soon as possible in March time. Could go with barley again. I mean, it is a good earner, it gives you quite a lot. Oats might be a good bet. I haven't done oats yet, but it's either going to be one of them 3, but really doesn't matter. I mean, we've made pretty good money, so maybe we can invest in something. Maybe it might be a good idea to just have a quick look at used vehicles just to see what's on offer. Now, I do like that baler, so that could be an option. We could go back to normal sized square bales. There's a Massey there for 81,000, and it's a bit low on the horsepower. This would be good to do silage, but to be honest, it's still quite steep for price, and we may as well just lease it out for what we want to do. But I do want to do silage in a pit this time around. There doesn't seem to be anything else that's standing out. I mean, that would have been good. That really would have been good. Holds 18,000 litres, and it's got a dribble bar, so it's better for the environment. But yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, there's a 170 horsepower Massey Ferguson 3670 there. Bit of a discount on that, but I'll keep an eye on that just to see if anything pops up. But on the weeder side, I'm probably going to go for this one. Do like this one. It's 15.2 meters spread, so it's really easy to use, and when you're weeding, the bigger the better really. It just means that you can get it done quicker. So I'd say that's pretty much job done for this harvest. We've done everything. Probably a few maintenance jobs to do that I will do in between this episode and the next. We're obviously going to cut through now after winter time, and yeah, we'll start doing some more field work, and hopefully the cows will start breeding soon so we can get even more and we can start making good money off the milk. But before I go, what I'm going to just quickly do is jump over to the biogas plant, and we're going to skip an hour just to see. Right, so as you can see, you can hear it's running. You can see that it's gone a bit crazy. It's like 7599. It's hitting 76,000, I think that is. So obviously it's taking the silage from the bales that haven't been consumed yet. So it will keep going for a bit, but we want to just speed up time just a touch so we can get to the 12 o'clock mark in game, just to see how much money it gives us every hour. It's hard to tell how much silage it's consumed to get that. So I think it's just jumped up. So we just got £306. £306, which doesn't really tell me much, let's be honest. But if we skip a whole full hour, because I don't think that was a full hour. So if we skip the whole hour of 12 to 1. So I've now made £907 from the biogas plant in the last technically hour and a half. So that's not too bad. I mean, it's consistent money. It's nice to have consistent money coming in. And this is going to be running for quite some time. But I think the best way for me to estimate this is just wait until I've processed it all, total up all the biogas plant earnings, compare it to that 40-odd thousand, and then we'll be able to see what's more profitable. Obviously it's going to be biogas, I imagine it is, but it's just the time and the effort that it takes. You're obviously bringing it here, you have to drop it in. If you wanted to manually unload it, it'd take more effort and time. If you just do what I did and put it in through an auto load trailer, pretty easy to do, and then you just leave it going. It's nice to have that consistent flow of income, but is it worth it compared to just selling them and getting straight income there and then? I don't know. I'll be able to tell you as soon as I find out how much money this gives me. If it gives me a massive increase on what I get from just selling the bales, then maybe it is. But it does take quite a lot of time, and only processing 50,000 litres pretty much every 3 days now is, yeah, it just becomes a problem when we do a massive bunker, for example, and you've got like 1 million litres of silage. It's going to take forever. It really is. So I'll keep an eye on it, and we'll make pretty much a judgment call when we find out how much money we get from it. So in the next episode, like I said, we'll be getting back to field work. We'll start probably maybe doing some bits with the cows. We need to do the slurry. We're going to have to do some manure. Hopefully the grass will start growing back as well. I don't know what month it's going to be when we cut back in. It's probably going to be around springtime. We'll get some planting done. We've obviously got soybeans and to get in the ground, and probably before that we're going to be planting something else. There's going to be plenty more to do, plenty more money to make, and if we need to buy anything, we can do that now, and if we want to upgrade maybe, we can also do that. But on that note, I am going to leave the video there. So thanks for watching. Really do appreciate it every time. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. If you have, please give it a thumbs up, because that does help my channel out, and if you're new, don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more videos just like this one on Farming Simulator.